Hello and welcome to season 3, episode 32 of Quaint and Cozy KC. I am your host, Lainey Renee, and today I am just, I'm really excited to be here talking to you today about this new place that I discovered. Now, it's not so new, but I kind of discovered it for myself, and it's called the Puppetry Arts Institute, and it's also an institute with all kinds of puppetry things, like teaching you kind of how to make the puppets, paint the puppets, all of that stuff. And then also there's like a museum. So there's some history as well. And I was really lucky. I was able to go to this past Saturday because it was on the rainier side. And so I went to Independence and I was able to check out this museum. Now I'd seen a glimpse of it on TikTok, but I was like, you know what? It sparked my interest. It's in the Englewood Arts neighborhood of Independence, right? And so I think it's probably a little busier. Like that area is pretty bustling, even though it was kind of rainy. I'm sure if the weather had been nice, I might not have been able to get a parking space because there's a lot of businesses and stuff around there, like cute shops and then cute places to eat and all of that. But if you're in the area, definitely would recommend coming on down and checking out the museum. I got a tour and I got to hear about a lot of the history of puppetry. For example, it's the only museum that's dedicated to Hazel Rollins and her puppets. And she was a Kansas City area businesswoman, and she created Hazel Inc., and it's an internationally recognized puppet manufacturing company. And her factory is located in Kansas City from 1934 to 1985. And the exhibit features examples of her marionettes. She had finger puppets, hand puppets, and parts that she used to create the puppets. So it's kind of cool, like listening to her story and kind of seeing the exhibits that they had, and how she was kind of ahead of her time. Then there's also an international room, and it's dedicated to the founder and executive director, Diane Hauk. I think I'm saying that name right. And there's lots of different examples of puppets from around the world. So that was really cool to look at as well. And if you follow me on social media, probably within about 4 or 5 days, I'll start posting that as well. I'm still kind of posting my experiences at the Kemper Museum of Contemporary Art because I took a lot of video and all that stuff. So yes, I mean I got a great tour. It was like about I think it took about anywhere from 30 to 45 minutes, just kind of walking around. And the staff member was there to answer all my questions. Apparently, you can book parties there to kind of paint puppets. I know it sounds kind of like, wow, who would want to paint puppets? But lots of people are really getting back into arts and crafts with everything going on. And then, I think they have this thing where you make the puppet and then you can do like a puppet show. And also, I think during the school year, they also have kids come in and make puppets and do puppet shows and all that stuff. But it's kind of cool. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so cool as a former theater kid. But are you ever really a former theater or music nerd? No, I think that stays with you for life. I was so excited. There's something about, being in a performance space, whether it's like a puppet performance space or like, a main stage, all of that was really inspiring. And that's something you definitely want to check out. Again, with everything going on and prices going up, the museum tour was free. I know that they charge for the different packages for parties, for like making the puppets, all of that. So that's definitely on their website. That's puppetryartinstitute.org. You want to check that out. And again, I will also start posting within the next few days. You'll see, things on my social media about this. But yes, overall, very enjoyable time. And I would say if I wouldn't take little kids there because they're going to get into everything. But if you've got maybe kids that are about 8 to 11 or 12, they might be kind of interested and, able to kind of not like, start touching things and all that other stuff. Also cool for adults too. If you've got adults that are into, doing the theater stuff and like being around creative stuff. And then down the street is Vivilore. And I went there last year for the first time. It was kind of a cool little space. So, I am all about consolidating things. Okay. I'm all about spending a day, and then it's next to the the Englewood Arts Center. I think it's called the I want to say it's the art. I think it's the Art Center. Maybe that's what it's called. There's like a gallery next door because it was closed. Yeah. So it was a center and it had workshops for glass blowing and neon crafting and musical acts, all that stuff. And when I went down there, it wasn't open. When I went to Vivilore, it wasn't open the time that I went there. But that's definitely back on my list of places to, check out. But that to me, Englewood Arts Center, like the neighborhood in general, that is an all day thing. So you go there on a Saturday, get there at like 9 or so, go get some breakfast, at one of the cute little shops, little diner things. Then, I think a lot of the shops open around 10 or so. So you can kind of like walk around, look around, and then, go have some lunch down there and just make a whole day of it. It's the kind of place when we were kids in the 80s, your parents would drop you off someplace like at the mall and you were just there all day. Okay. I mean, not saying that we should go back to that, or you're at least there for like 3 hours while they ran errands or did whatever. And so that's kind of like, what we did as kids and, a big group of kids, we would just kind of go down there, get dropped off and, hang out there for a few hours until our parents came and picked us back up. Or sometimes we rode our bikes there, but a lot of times we would end up, getting picked up. But it's that kind of place. It's super cute place. There is plenty of parking, but it gets busy. So, there's peak times I've noticed, like definitely on a Friday, Saturday night, it could get kind of like, parking lot could fill up. So just kind of be aware of that, especially if the weather's kind of on the nicer side. So yeah, just kind of be aware of that. Now, let's talk about comfort, okay? Comfort, we're all looking for some comfort TV, and we're looking to kind of like, because I know if you're like me, I've got a lot of streaming services, right? I've had to cut some of the streaming services because I'm not watching them because I'm out here doing so many things. So I could not justify keeping some of the streaming services that I had, okay? So I'm like, you know what? I'm okay with a free streaming service. I'm okay with, watching things for free and, not having to like commit to anything. So Journey TV. Now, I used to watch Journey TV years ago. It's been almost, I want to say like maybe 7 or 8 years since I last kind of watched it, but I was really into it. And it's got Journey TV. It is kind of like this it's a website and it's an app and I think you can put it on your Roku on your TV or whatever. I like to watch a lot of things on my laptop with like my monitors and stuff. That's just like my preference. Um, but it has all kinds of series on there, like food series. Now, some of them are from, it ranges. It goes all the way from they have stuff from like 2014 all the way to 2025. Like right now, there's Gordon's Great Escape, and that's Gordon Ramsay, and he's going on like a food quest to experience, the diversity of different cultures, like all that kind of stuff. And so that's on there as well. And it's saying it's from 2025. I'm not sure. Like I feel like he's got another one out there. But yeah, so it's like you've got travel stuff. A lot of it is European. There are some American things, and again, these some of these things are from 2018. Some of them are from 2025. Some of them, are from 2022. So it's if you really want to immerse yourself and kind of escape and maybe binge watch some free things, like they've got something called Epic Trails, and the host goes through some of the most breathtaking hiking routes, lush valleys, all like mountains. I mean, it looks really cool. Like, looks like he's in Peru and he's in Canada and Fiji. Like, that looks kind of cool. And so, again, it's a nice little escape. Just, some escapism there. I don't see any movies. I don't think they really do movies on here. It's a lot of, shows with traveling and food. And there's something, oh, it looks like there is a documentary, no, it's an episode of something. Um, but like architecture, just all the things. If you just kind of like can kind of get lost there and take a little break from the 24/7 news cycle. Journey TV, and you can go to watch.journey, and that's JORNY.TV. And again, as always, I will put the links in the show notes. But I just thought, what a cool kind of thing to watch and just kind of get away from all the social media and get away from all of the, the news cycle going on right now. Okay, next up. I was talking to one of my friends today. Actually, I've talked about this with a couple friends. And, in the past, I've kind of done this little segment, a very casual segment about Quaint and Cozy KC quests. But I think I want to bring this up again. Like, I think it's so important, especially right now, to have a quest that is outside of anything that is, like educational. Like, yes, one of my quests is to kind of like brush up on my Excel skills. Okay, that's a great quest to do for my career and just for, staying organized, all that stuff. But, I want to do more than just take like online business classes or online, career classes. I want to do other things. And obviously, I am doing those other things. But sometimes, you want to do a quest and you want it to be simple. And so, my quest that I'm doing, I'm going to bookstores. There is a bookstore that I've got my eye on in the Northland. Now, of course, Basement Books, because I have been there a couple times, and that's in downtown Liberty. Love that place. There's also a place called the Gilded Page, and that is in the Northland, and it's located at 4264 North Oak Traffic Way in Kansas City, Missouri. But it's also, it's north of the river because sometimes Kansas City, you have to look at the zip codes to figure out which part of the city you're in. Um, but yeah, I'm like, oh my gosh, this looks like a cool little place, the Gilded Page. So that's one of my quests. I'm like, okay, I want to hit up try a new bookstore at least once a month, go by a new bookstore. And then of course, I've got a quest with the museums. I'm always like, oh, I got to check out this museum. Also, I am looking at more library programs. I always do, sometimes I feel like, once a quarter I wax poetic about, library programs, public library programs, why they are so important. And I'm excited because I am going to be going to one of those library programs. There is going to be a presentation of an opera, and I believe I just want to make sure I'm getting the name of it right. It's an opera about Langston Hughes, and I think they're going to kind of probably do the highlights of the opera, like kind of like a teaser thing, a teaser program. So it's Lyric Opera of Kansas City presents Langston Hughes, A Lyrical Life. And so it's, I think they are going to, it's a semi-staged musical, and that's lets me I think I'm really excited about this because there's going to be music, and it looks like it is probably geared towards ages 11 and up. So this might not be something you want to bring like a 6-year-old to, but it's going to be kind of exploring the jazz poetry and the Harlem Renaissance. And he was born in Joplin, Missouri, so he is a Missouri. He was born in Missouri, and so yeah, I'm actually really excited about that, and that is happening next month for me at one of my libraries. But they're going to be having this all over the city. So again, that's Lyric Opera of Kansas City presents Langston Hughes, A Lyrical Life. So there's going to be some music, some opera, some operatic voices, which I love because I did study opera in college. And then also, I'm also excited because the Northland Symphony, now that is up north, they are putting on a program this weekend, and it's going to be I'm really actually excited about it. It's going to be on Sunday, and it is the associate principal cello, Susie Young. And she is going to be at 3 p.m. at North Kansas City High School, and it's free. And she's going to perform Elgar's cello concerto. And so that's going to be kind of exciting. Now, I think it's going to be about 90 minutes, and they're going to have an intermission, which I really appreciate. When I was doing like chamber music as a house manager, my internship, sometimes a program, if it was an hour and a half, sometimes you didn't always get like that intermission, that's a longer intermission. They give you like 10 minutes. You'd have to like run around, get everybody ready, whatever. But a lot of times with intermissions, like, especially back then, it's like it's a 10-minute intermission or a 15-minute intermission, and it could stretch to 25 minutes. So, it's really important, like, if you're in an intermission, to get everything as, going as a concert goer, to like, get watered up and, visit the restroom, do what you need to do so you can get back to your seat so you're not scrambling to get back to your seat. So yes, it's going to be a 90 minutes. So I'm assuming they're going to do 45-minute breaks. And so I'm sure if it starts at 3, it's probably going to get out by 4:45 or 5, depending on, again, if they're able to start promptly at 3 p.m. So that's exciting. Northland Symphony Orchestra. And that's another thing on these side quests, because this is going to be like, I'm going to get on a soapbox. We have so many great local musicians, local artists in Kansas City area. And if you're not listening from Kansas City, I'm sure wherever you're listening from, you have that too. And so a lot of times their performances are free or, donation based. Um, and so, I know sometimes people are like, oh, I wish I could go to the symphony. I don't have a lot of money, whatever. Your local symphonies are generally free or very low cost. So, check out supporting them. They could really use our support right now. And we could really use, their talent and arts to just kind of like, make our life, really good, especially in that 90 minutes to like 2 hour time frame that we are listening to them. And then, of course, anytime I encounter, I like go and watch a show or something like that, I try to find the person on YouTube or on a streaming service to just kind of see like, oh, well, what else do they have? And then, I follow them. And that's kind of how, my music collection, my digital music collection kind of grows. Okay, so again, those are my quests, like bookstores, library programs, but really more specifically like symphonic and operatic music, because that's, I spent years, performing that music. And then also I definitely have an appreciation for it. So I'm excited to be able to kind of like do back to back, like February, March, I'll be kind of listening to that kind of stuff like live performances. I love live performances. I think they're very, very important. Now, on that note, I'm going to end the podcast. I know it is such a quick little bite of a podcast. You can find me at quaintandcozykc.com. I'm also on TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram at Quaint and Cozy KC. Take care, and I will talk to you soon. Be safe, everyone.